La première dame camerounaise, Madame Chantal, inaugure cette cérémonie de présentation des vœux de Nouvel An 2023 à l'épouse du chef de l'État, la première dame camerounaise. Bienvenue donc ici à la résidence principale du Palais de l'Unité.
Cérémonie
de présentation des vœux de Nouvel An 2023.
Cérémonie de présentation des vœux de Nouvel An 2023 à Madame Chantal, épouse de Monsieur le Président de la République, par les épouses des membres du corps diplomatique, sous la conduite de Madame Annie Bifo, ambassadeur, épouse de l'ambassadeur de la République gabonaise, doyen du corps diplomatique.
Dear viewers of the Cameroon Radio Television, this is a special day, a very special one here at the main residence of the Unity Palace, where 1,000 women from different parts of life have been gathered for the presentation of new wishes to the First Lady, Ms. Chantal, spouse of the President of the Republic. As you can see on your screen, she has already received the spouses and members of the diplomatic corps. They were led by Mrs. Annie Bifo. Annie Bifo, who is the spouse of the Gabonese ambassador to Cameroon. She had with her
Tout à fait, ces dames, La série de poignées de main à Madame Chantal BIYA est terminée. Devrait commencer maintenant un moment plus convivial avec d'abord cette séance photo posée pour l'éternité et nous aurons ensuite, si on s'en tient aux usages habituels, un verre que ces dames vont partager et très souvent elles partent du palais de l'unité avec un souvenir que leur remet la première dame camerounaise, Madame Chantal BIYA. Alors, il faut quand même signaler, comme nous sommes avec ces dames du volet diplomatique, que Madame Chantal BIYA revient fraîchement des États-Unis, de Washington DC, où elle a accompagné son époux, le président Paul BIYA, au deuxième sommet des leaders États-Unis-Afrique. Et en marge du sommet, Madame Chantal BIYA a eu quelques activités.
Indeed, a summit in which the First Lady, Mrs. Chantal BIYA, was very engrossed in, very active. She participated actively. She took part in a series of meetings organized by her counterparts, the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Jill Biden. The first was one which concerned health, that is the treatment of prevention of cancers among young girls and women. You know how particular the First Lady is about vulnerable people, and women are always very vulnerable. Before we continue, Joseph Clément Amba, after immortalizing those moments in photos, the First Lady and her guests are now sharing drinks. They are sharing probably some wine, and others are taking the opportunity to do individual photos. We can see her with one of our friends, one of the wives of the diplomatic corps, taking a photo there. Very relaxed, very pretty. So we were saying that she took part in this meeting where the main concern was the prevention of cancers. You know, cancer is growing amongst women at an amazing rate, and women who use what? Pads. It's surprising, but some of these pads that they sell on the market, and most of what young women and women in general buy from the markets, have toxic agents that cause cancers. So Mrs. Chantal BIYA and her peers were sensitized on this, and they in turn are going to sensitize their women in their different countries. They will also ensure that the treatment of cancers is strengthened and reinforced, because as you know, when a woman is affected, it is the entire society and the family that is affected. And so Mrs. Chantal BIYA took part in this very important meeting, and then there was another meeting before she took part in the dinner offered by the president of the USA and his wife. She took part in another meeting where food was the main issue. You know what food is? If you don't love somebody, you don't offer them food. You come to my house, even a glass of water, I won't give it to you, Joseph.
Justement, et on a remarqué surtout à Yimbilé qu'il y a comme une unicité au niveau de l'art culinaire entre les Afro-Américains et les Africains, parce qu'on a vu qu'il y avait beaucoup de similitudes entre les mets, notamment ceux d'Afrique de l'Ouest, et les mets consommés par nos amis afro-américains. Et je crois que c'était cet exposé fait par Madame Jessica Harris au niveau de Washington DC. Et il faudrait également signaler que toutes ces invitations de Madame Chantal BIYA, elle honorait des invitations de la First Lady américaine, Jill Biden.
Indeed. So culinary prowesses of the USA, which is a reflection of not only, the relationship, the links that exist between human beings and food, but it is also a demonstration, a portrayal of the links that exist between cultures across the continents, across the world, because what you find in another country sometimes may have come from another one. Jessica Harris, for example, talked about okra. That's what we commonly call in Cameroon okra, and she said she found a lot of it in many African countries, including Senegal and Ghana. They eat a lot of it, and they eat a lot of it as well in the United States of America. She talked about jollof rice. They have their ways of cooking it. They've, improved or added their own ingredients, but the basic is that the kinds of foods, okra, she talked about puff puff. That's puff puff or donuts, which we all love here in Cameroon and in many African countries, and which, as you know, is much loved in the USA. So all these linkages, the First Ladies examined them, and once again, they just wanted to highlight and demonstrate the fact that food is a very important aspect in the life of a human being. Of course, without food, you can't live. And once again, food is a demonstration of how much you love people. When you offer people food, you're offering them love. Many people will not, I repeat, offer a glass of water to anybody. So those are the kinds of activities the First Lady, Madame Chantal BIYA, took part in while she was in the United States of America, supporting her husband, who was very, very busy. It's also a very busy moment for these ladies who are here in Cameroon supporting their husbands who are working. And when they take time off like this to, enjoy with the First Lady of the country, they are prized, very cherished moments for them. So the photo shooting continues while I'm sure the ladies continue exchanging snacks and wine. And after that, Joseph Clément Omba, I'm sure the First Lady will open the ball to receive spouses of national dignitaries.
Tout à fait, ce sera la seconde phase de ce rituel au Palais de l'Unité, alors que la séance photo continue avec les épouses des membres du corps diplomatique accrédités à Yaoundé. Chacune tient à poser pour la postérité avec la première dame camerounaise, Madame Chantal BIYA. Et vous le voyez, c'est une ambiance parfaitement conviviale ici, à la résidence principale du Palais de l'Unité, où les couleurs de la décoration sont chatoyantes. On voit une forte dominance du rose chicha, j'espère que je ne me trompe pas, avec donc ces belles couleurs pour agrémenter cet événement, la présentation des vœux de Nouvel An à Madame Chantal BIYA, une cérémonie à laquelle on n'a pas assisté depuis 2 ans.
Lots of colors, a ceremony exciting, unfolding in all serenity, and you said the dominating colors, use of pink, we have some red as well, we have white, and we have plenty of roses, especially in the just where the First Lady is receiving the ladies. You even have a rose on her dress. All of these are so characteristic of the First Lady. The First Lady expresses a lot of wealth, a lot of love, a lot of peace, and so she always chooses colors that are representative of these emotions and these feelings. The presentation of New Year wishes continues. The First Lady, Mrs. Chantal BIYA, is still exchanging with the spouses of members of the diplomatic corps. Now Shito has a drink in her hand. The First Lady, who always wants to make sure that her guests are at ease, they won't be drinking, and she's not drinking, so she's now taking a glass after the photo shoot. Each member has had a photo shoot, individual photo shoots with her. They've had a collective photo shoot. And right now, she's now chit-chatting, exchanging pleasantries with the ladies, and maybe also talking about very important things. We already told you they are members of the Circle of Friends of CERAC, this organization, this association founded by the First Lady that, you know, goes through the entire national territory to provide help, support, and assistance to the most vulnerable, that is children, women, and even men, giving them gifts, making sure that they can improve their lives as much as possible. So these women, wives of members of the Diplomatico, are part of that circle. They donate not only their time but their money to ensure that the humanism of Mrs. Chantal BIYA grows from strength to strength. She's moved from one corner of the room to another, and maybe it's just time for us to let you enjoy Mrs. Chantal BIYA and her guests.
Madame la Première Dame, Excellences, Mesdames et Messieurs, chers collègues et corps diplomatiques, à l'occasion de ces retrouvailles qui nous permettent de renouer avec la traditionnelle cérémonie des vœux à vous, Madame la Première Dame, après 2 années de suspension dues à la Covid-19. Je voudrais, au nom de toutes mes collègues ici présentes, vous souhaiter une excellente année 2023, pleine de santé, de bonheur et d'amour pour vous-même, votre époux, votre famille et tous ceux qui vous sont tant proches que chers. 2022 n'a pas été une année facile pour la réalisation des objectifs auxquels vous vous êtes assignés pour le bien-être des populations les plus démunies du Cameroun, en dépit de la pandémie qui prévalait, paralysant ainsi des pans entiers de vos objectifs. Vous n'avez ménagé aucun effort à relever les grands défis et les actions à réaliser, à la fois en tant que Première Dame, mais aussi en tant qu'humaniste. La rétrospective de 2022 fait apparaître ainsi votre rencontre en janvier 2022 avec votre homologue de l'Union des Comores pour partager votre passion pour l'humanitaire, votre rencontre avec la directrice générale de l'UNESCO pour évaluer le chemin parcouru dans votre mission d'ambassadrice de bonne volonté de l'UNESCO et de se projeter sur l'avenir. Au niveau du CERAC, malgré le contexte sanitaire difficile, le CERAC a continué à se déployer sur le terrain et à consolider ses acquis en matière sociale sous votre impulsion. Madame la Première Dame, la liste de vos actions et réalisations pour le bien-être des populations vulnérables est longue, très longue. Ainsi, permettez-moi de m'arrêter là en vous invitant à continuer à travailler avec vos compatriotes dans la paix et l'harmonie. Bonne et heureuse année 2023. Je vous remercie.
Vous venez de le suivre.
C'est ça.
Je n'ai jamais assisté à ce discours, appelons ça comme ça, de l'épouse du doyen du corps diplomatique, Annie Bifo, donc, qui a loué les actions humanitaires de Mme Chantal BIYA au cours de l'année 2022, en rappelant quelques actions comme cette audience accordée à son homologue de l'Union des Comores, au directeur général de l'UNESCO, ainsi que les nombreuses actions posées par le CERAC pour soulager les souffrances. Aïe?
Yes, Joseph Clément Ombar, a ceremony presentation of the New Year wishes back in full swing and with lots of innovations. We've just witnessed one of them, the presentation of a speech by Annie Bifo, spouse of the Gabonese ambassador to Cameroon. She just presented a speech, warm words to the First Lady, Mrs. Chantal BIYA, where she hailed and praised the First Lady for her humanitarian activities which she carried on despite the COVID-19 pandemic. It's not been easy. She said 2022 was a very difficult year. You know, COVID-19 was still around, it is still around. But Mrs. Chantal BIYA, being the humanist that she is, wanting to spread love, wanting to improve livelihoods, forged on with her activities. And that is how, through CERAC, they went down to various parts of the country to, do what they can to improve the livelihoods and well-being of Cameroonians. And shows Mrs. Annie Bifo also told the First Lady, Mrs. Chantal BIYA Joseph, that she should continue this year in 2023 in peace and harmony as she's always done with her activities. She should continue to move on, wishing her, as she did at the beginning, an excellent year. A year full of everything she wishes for herself, best wishes to cut it short for herself, that is the First Lady, for her spouse, the President of the Republic, and all her loved ones. They were warm words and very encouraging words for the First Lady. She needs it sometimes.
Tout à fait. On venait de l'apercevoir là, en toute humilité, la première dame camerounaise, Madame Chantal BIYA, qui, étant chez elle, décide elle-même de prendre le relais pour le service en proposant quelque chose à grignoter et à boire à ses convives ici à la résidence principale du Palais de l'Unité. C'est une cérémonie émouvante à laquelle nous assistons ici, 2 ans après la dernière cérémonie du genre ici au Palais de l'Unité, au niveau de la résidence principale, où la première dame camerounaise, Mme Chantal BIYA, pose avec les épouses des membres du corps diplomatique.
Personnel she has at her service. She indeed decided to serve her guests herself. She took the trays from those who brought the trays into her and, offered the delicacies, the snacks to the spouses of the spouses of the they are spouses of members of the diplomatic corps in the country. It's such a moving, picture of what the First Lady can do. Some people wouldn't do that.
De présentation des vœux de Nouvel An 2023 à Madame Chantal.